Record. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We really wanted to keep meeting as a community, to keep sharing with each other and touching base and hearing from each other and staying connected. This is not an easy time. So, yeah, today's call, we're joined by our lead riders who you know and love. So we're going to start with having them speak a little bit about what they've been going through and how the war has affected their lives, what's present for them today. And we can ask questions, feel free to write questions in the chat if anything comes up. And then after that, I think it would be nice if we can open this up to everyone, and everyone, in America or wherever you're at can share what you're going through, and we could just connect as a community and support each other. So yes, feel free to use the chat. We will have time to ask questions and share. So I'm gonna, without further ado, hand it off to Alma. Are you okay starting?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Just Alma, and introduce yourself a little bit. Not everybody has been on the ride multiple times and knows who everybody is. So introduce yourself, where you're from, how long you've been around, your connection, just a little bit before you start that. Great.
Okay. So first of all, I'm really excited to see all of these faces and names on my computer. I missed you a lot, and yes, my name is Alma. I'm an alumni of the Arava Institute. I studied, I think, 2004. I work on these rides since about 2006, maybe, and I really looked forward for this ride this year. I had a rough year. I lost my father this year, and I really looked forward to meet my community, another community in my life, and to share and to talk on the road, on the bikes, and we were 1 week before the war began. We did a preparation ride, and we were riding on these beautiful roads of around the Gaza Strip. We went through the Achetz HaShachor, the Black Arrow, and Nir Am, and we got into Be'eri, where we were supposed to have a stop this year, Kibbutz Be'eri and Re'im, and I was with Aki, another lead rider, and we were taking off our sunglasses, and everything was so beautiful, and the light was beautiful, and the weather was beautiful, and we breathe in and say wow, and everything was so beautiful and so optimistic, and in a couple of weeks we're gonna meet everybody and ride these roads again, and then yes, we know what happened. We all woke up on the 7th of October, with a lot of news, a lot of rumors. My husband is in charge of security in my kibbutz. I'm also coming from a kibbutz from the north of Israel. We live next to Natzeret, Afula, Haifa, north, but not far north, not too far north. And somebody called him. We were partying with some friends the night before, and then someone called him early in the morning and listened, something is happening, and then I almost didn't see him for about 3 weeks. I saw him at home, but he was very busy with with the bomb shelters that had to be prepared, and arms, and the Kitat Konenut. like Howie, תעזור לי, help me.
כן.
כיתת
response team of the kibbutz, like
yeah,
a security
team of
response
the
team.
kibbutz, and a lot, and you know, in a city, when someone feel unsafe, he calls 911, like in the States, or 100. In a kibbutz, everyone calls my husband. And so he was very into a lot of issues, and some friends of mine, you know, live in the South, and, you know, family of friends, and, you know, you start to WhatsApp and what's going on, and yes, the news were, as the day went on, and the following days, the picture was getting clearer, and it was unbelievable, and like my heart, you know, just fell down, and unbelievable that this thing has happened. You know, we have all a very safe feeling in Israel, even though we know that not everyone, we live in a harsh neighborhood, but we have a feeling of safety, and that we have a strong military, and everything is, and then such a thing happening is devastating. And also having it happen in a kibbutz, in multiple kibbutzes, is, you know, because I'm also from a kibbutz, so it's, you know, people like me, a communities like ours, you know, and you know what it means when something like this happens in a community. And yes, and ever since, you know, in the beginning there were no schools, everyone was very alerted. We had a couple of alarms here that we had to go into bomb shelters, and we don't have a bomb shelter in our house. We live in an old house of the kibbutz, and we just started to build our own house with a bomb shelter inside the house. And so we go to a bomb shelter, a communal bomb shelter, and, you know, the kids were very upset, but you know, you feel that it's nothing, because, you know, it's, you know, what other people has gone through, and it's just like nothing. And the kids were home, and we had a lot of activities that we made in the kibbutz. Like the day that we had the first alarm in the kibbutz, I did a felting workshop, that making fairies with the kids, and then I had to run home to my kids, and my husband, of course, was away. And yes, and ever since, you know, I'm in charge of, in the kibbutz, of hosting mefunim, like those who had to leave their houses. Mostly we have from the north, we have a few from the south, that they live in empty houses that we had in the kibbutz, not empty, but available houses. Also, in my parents' home, we have like a little unit that my father's nurse, so the one who took care of him, she lived there. So we host there a couple of people from Metula, which is in the far north. And yes, I'm helping to, you know, everyone want to feel that he is doing something to help and to contribute. And that's that's what I do with the people who came from other places to the kibbutz. And I want to say another thing. Yes, the feeling is very bad. Some days I feel that we have no future here in the Middle East. Some days, actually many days, I feel and I want, and also my husband, we say that after everything is done, we will go and live down south, in Be'eri or Kfar Aza, and help with our the things that are professions. I'm an urban planner, and my partner is a builder, and that we can contribute there, and come with our energies and forces. And so things are very confusing at the moment, and these days when the refugees, not refugees, the hostages are coming to Israel are very happy days, but then I stay late at night, and then it's hard for me to wake up to work because we don't see the news when the kids are awake. It's nothing good for them. Also, they know we talk about things, but they don't see the news, and so I watch things through the night, and then the picture gets more clearer and clearer all the time, and the feeling that it's unbelievable. But yes, we try to stay optimistic, but it's hard. Also, feeling what's with I'm in contact with some Arab friends, and Mazen, who studied the Arava Institute, who was our fellow at the Arava Institute. We're in close connection, and we talk a lot, and we share our feelings. And he shared his point of view, where he feels, as an Israeli Arab, a lot of frustration and also not fear, but he's uncomfortable, going to the supermarket, going in the street, that he feels. He lives in Jerusalem now. So we talk a lot, we share, also with other alumni of the Institute, Gonen, who lives in Canada, and other friends, and we try to encourage each other and find our optimistic energy inside us, but very hard times. This is it.
Can I take it from here?
Yeah,
You hear
go
me?
for it. Yes.
Hi, I'm Neria. I've been participating in the Israel Ride since 2007. Alma mentioned that we rode near Be'eri and Reim 6 days before the ride, before October 7th. Each year, Gal and Lindsay, they send us a couple of choices of days that we need to choose when we want to do the preparation ride. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that one of the choices was the same day that the attack happened. And I'm glad we didn't choose that day. I'm not sure it was, if I'm 100% correct, but I think it was one of the choices. So I think we were a bit lucky that we didn't choose this day to do the preparation ride. On Shabbat, October 7th, my brother's daughter, she spent the night at our home, and I woke up early in the morning to go out for a ride. And then I heard a strange noise coming out of her cell phone. I went to her cell phone, and then I saw that it says that there's each time that the missiles are, that they are throwing missiles from Gaza to Israel, there's such a thing called red alert. So each time there was a red alert, she got it in her phone. And so I looked at her phone, and I saw many red alerts. It was 6 in the morning, something like this, 6:30 in the morning. I ran to the TV, I turned it on, and I was shocked, totally shocked. From time to time we have missiles in Israel, but never such a thing. In the first thing I saw, I knew something very bad is going on, because it was something else. And then the news came, and you saw terrible pictures in the TV. And I don't know, this day, it changed my life, and many other, I think every Israeli, it changed his life totally. As Alma said, till now, we never had, we have security issues here in Israel, but still we felt secure. And something, it shook us. It won't be again the same. I guess that in time, things will get back to be normal, but something will stay in our head, and we'll know that we will not stay for 100%. And we are surrounded with people who don't like us, and it's a terrible. No, I don't know. To live with this thing in your mind that something like this can happen, and you don't. I don't know. Many friends of mine and many people I know, they wanted to go. Even I have a family in the States, and maybe this is something that I would like to ask you. I have a family in San Diego, California, and they don't feel so safe. And I know that he went and he got for himself a gun so he can defend his family if something happens. And I too, I want, now I thought maybe to get the gun for myself in the first days. Now I feel more normal, but in the first day I was very afraid, and I wanted to have a gun. A friend of mine put all around his house knives and the club, and if something will come to his house, and he lives near Jerusalem, not in the south or in the north. People were very afraid, and I don't know, we had terrible days. But now things are getting back to normal a bit, and the captives they let each day couple of captives to go back home, and this makes us very happy. A good friend of mine, his sister was a captive, and they let her go home yesterday. And another, there's not a friend of mine, but an acquaintance of mine that lives in Ramat Rachel, where we started the ride a couple of years ago. His son was captive, and they let him go back home yesterday. So there are a couple of good news in those bad days. And I don't know, hopefully we'll be back normal again. I hope soon. Other than that, I'm happy to see you all. I missed you. I'm very sorry we couldn't meet this year, and I hopefully will meet next year.
I'm jumping in if you finish, Neria.
Yeah.
It's okay? So hi, I'm Roy, and I joined the Israel Ride full power. I joined it from probably 2009, but I kind of jumped into a few days here and there from 2007. I live a bit north of Tel Aviv. I'll show you my current situation for a second. That's Daniel, that's Talia, and that's Hillary, who is a result of the ride as well. Like her being here is a result of the ride as well. So talking about my experience. So first, just commenting on what Neria and Alma said. So Alma mentioned that they don't have a bomb shelter in their house. And Neria talked about an app that tells you when there's a siren, which that obviously indicates that this place is not normal to begin with, because you don't have bomb shelters or siren apps in your phones. But also, like Alma said, there was optimism and I think some hope that it goes to a better and better direction, even though the last year wasn't even that because of the government and etc. And people were really focused on government protest. Alma, by the way, was very strong in that. And obviously that day changed everything from before and after, I think. And so we were home and we woke up with sirens at 6:30 in the morning, like almost everybody in Israel, or at least the southern half. And my daughter, by the way, had a birthday that day, October 7, and she was supposed to go to the beach with the family and friends, so that obviously got canceled. And actually for me, hearing the sirens in the morning, I was like, okay, another regular sirens that, like, you know, something happened and Gaza is throwing rockets on us and we'll bomb them. Like, I didn't even open the internet and I don't have a TV, so I didn't see the news. And then actually, maybe at 9 a.m., I called a cousin for some reason and I told her, I hope I'm not waking you up. And she's like, are you joking? All of Israel is awake. And I'm like, why? And then she kind of told me what's happening. It was obviously shocking, but I think I got it a little bit more delayed in a different proportion than what Neria described. And the biggest feeling for me, I think it's really depressing. It's you don't see how and in which direction Israel can get out of it. Like, I'm not saying security-wise it would end in some sort of way, but it didn't take anybody into a good direction. Like, people are thinking of getting guns, every other person, like Neria mentioned, and if it's people that are a little bit more extreme already, they're already have guns, and if not, they're like jumping on the guns because that's their dream. And for me also, interacting with a lot of people in the south, I work, by the way, 30 kilometers from the Gaza Strip, and there's some people at my work that were really affected in all kinds of levels, like families that are completely gone as well. And it's obviously hard to hear those stories, but also there's extreme anger, and which has a reason, obviously, and it's really hard to imagine how it goes into a good direction somehow in some point. Basically on the daily life, it's not really impacting if you live a little north of Tel Aviv. There's maybe a siren once every other day. Now there's a ceasefire for a little bit, but the kids are obviously more anxious, and my son is next to me, so he's listening, but like I think half of the questions he asks me now is like, what would this missile do? What would this missile do? What would what's the damage of that missile? As if I'm like a missile expert. And he has some nightmares here and there. So it's obviously deep in his mind, even though he barely saw any news, just coincidentally in a few friends' houses. But other than that, it's mostly the mood is down. Like, it's I can do anything that I could do before almost, but it's the atmosphere is really bad, and it's hard. Like, also, you know, Israel is small, and you know, people in reserves, you know, people in more scary places, you know, people that got hurt. Like, so talking even about me, Neria, Alma, all of us didn't get hurt in like a first circle. Like, all of our families are okay, it's all okay, but everybody knows somebody that was severely impacted. So it's a tough time. That's it, I think. Like, I can talk more, but can also listen to others.
Thank you, all lead writers, for sharing. We're all with you, like really, like in heart and mind, with everyone in Israel. I see Kfir also joined the call. He's also a lead writer, not in Israel, but Kfir, do you want to say a couple words about how you're doing and how your family is and all that? You just have to unmute.
Hi everybody, good to see you. I'm in the middle of work, so I just came to say hi actually. I'm not in Israel. Physically, my heart there. I support my mom and my kids there. That's it. It's good. No, I don't have lots of sharing to do. We can keep on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I see that there's a question from Asher David. Are people going to work / school? Are Israelis going out to eat and such?
During the, go ahead, Alma.
At the first month, there were no schools at all, and slowly we had a good preparation with the corona to have the Zoom and other ways for kids to learn, but it didn't really work also because the parents and everyone was very nervous, and slowly things getting more and more normal in a not normal environment. The kids in the beginning, only the younger kids went to school, and then slowly also in different areas things are different and came back to normal in a different pace. We have to remember that in the south and also in the north, many settlements are just not at home. A lot of people live in hotels.
Evacuated,
hotel,
like towns were evacuated by the government.
towns and kibbutzes and moshavim were evacuated. Also, there is a lot of volunteering now in agriculture because, there is still the chickens and the eggs had to be picked up and the fruits on the trees and the fields. And also there is a lot of help with that. If you asked about work, I work in a governmental office, and we also went to help in agriculture in the north for one day. I guess it helped a little bit, but friends of mine, like older people that or other people that their work is not regular, they go to work more in agricultural works. Yes, instead of going to demonstrations, I was very active in demonstrations before the war began, and all the groups of demonstrations became group of activity of how to help survivors, how to help agriculture, how to help soldiers, how to help and to everyone who needs help. So yes, I go to work now. I feel very weird going to work because I do, things that are, I'm an urban planner, so I the offices and plans and there are discussions and everything is going on, but you feel that it's somehow meaningless in a way, but then the country have to keep on working and keep on, things have to happen. Yes.
So adding a little bit to Alma, first I want to say something that we didn't mention maybe, is that for me and for everybody, the ride was a week that we all really are waiting and expecting and anticipating that week. It's like none of us do it for like a job. We all do it because we want to meet with the people, we want to meet with each other and spend, like, I think almost, I can say, the best week of the year for us. And even like that completely disappeared in a second. Once you saw what's happening, you realized, okay, the ride is gone, obviously. And I think a lot of plans like that disappeared. And as for the routine after the war, so I also work in a place that is like an essential factory. So it's like an Intel factory, which is in the south, by the way, and there's a lot of like there's a lot of concerns now related to the war, like supply issues, safety concerns. You know, if a rocket falls there, it's like a really horrible situation, both for the factory impact and both for the environment or safety, whatever. So I did work the whole time, which is also good because it keeps you busy. Also, there's like some volunteering opportunities here and there, and everybody does that. But it's different now. The 4 last days or 5, whatever, were a little different because it was there was that ceasefire, which was a different gave the week a different feeling, and the areas that you could consider safe were expanded. So, because before that, the schools weren't fully open, at least in most of the country or the southern half. And also in terms of work areas, there were some work areas where we couldn't go. So now the last week it's all open, but who knows what's going to happen tomorrow morning when the ceasefire ends. So
I want to add some more words to Roy and Alma. So in the first days after the war began, as Alma said, the schools were closed and the kids were learned from home. People didn't go out to restaurants. They didn't have the mood to go out. But as the days passed, everything got back to normal slowly. And now everything is working. But in the first days, people only went to the supermarket to buy things to the home. The supermarkets were empty. You couldn't find eggs. You couldn't find water because people were preparing themselves for the worst. But now things are a bit better now, and everything, all the business is working as usual. Although there are many people from the south and in the north that are not in their home. All the hotels in Israel are 100% full of people who left their homes. We are talking about almost 200,000 people. Eilat is full, the Dead Sea hotels are full, in Jerusalem all the hotels are full, everywhere all the hotels are full. And it's very strange. By the way, I don't know if you heard it, but even in Eilat, they had the missiles from Yemen. I don't think anybody could dream that it will happen, that missiles will be fired to Eilat. But I have a brother who lives in Eilat, and they have so also in Eilat there were problems. What else? That's it.
I want to answer to Lev's question. He asked, what is the general public's opinion of the government leadership? Is the left still the left and the right still the right? Or has the attack caused people's opinions to shift? I feel that, unfortunately, a lot of opinions have been shifted. Well, first, the government is, people are not happy with the government at all. I was never happy with the government, but also people that were happy with the government before are now not happy with the government. And for example, now budgets, the budget is being reapproved, and that are still money goes to places that are not no, Roy,
Supporting the war or
supporting the war. There is a lot of anger. I felt personally with the leadership that I wanted to take Bibi and do like this to a little kid, you know, shake him. What have you done? Like, how did you break us in parts? How did you make us be so vulnerable? And still as vulnerable as a state, as a country, and still also but the people are now, before the war, people, you know, there were the left and the right, and there was a lot of oinut, Roy?
hostility.
Hostility. And now I feel people are more bonded together. You know, whenever you have a common...
It's only because you're surrounded only by left people, Alma.
No, I at work we have various population, but yes, there is a feeling of bonding, and of maybe it is because you have a common goal, then things are different. But yes, people from the left, I feel, have lost a lot of hope. I personally feel that I always believed in the good of people, and you know, believe that good will happen, and the people inside, they want peace, they want good education, they want health, they want a good future. And yes, I feel that many people are now more went into the right, but in a you know, all the there is a lot of violence in the
Conversation.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
And this is very, very, very bad. And you know, in the beginning I said that sometimes I feel that there is no future here in the Middle East, and this is one of the reasons, because I know that I don't want to live in a violent environment. I want to live in a society that believe in the good, that create the good, that see the other. And these things, I think, the belief in the good, I think, is a little broken. I have to say that I have a lot of colleagues from the Arab society, and that I work with regularly. In my work, I'm in charge of a lot of cities and villages of Arabs in the Galil, and we talk, and every time that we talk, you know, work things, we also talk about the future, and about that, you know, and that we all have to aim for a common good. So sometimes I feel, you know, it depends who I talk to and what's happening in that day. Sometimes there is more optimistic of the good, and sometimes you feel that the far right is you know, taking a very strong voice. But for me, the bottom line is that there will be that eventually things have to end in an agreement, in that sometimes a conflict makes a change, and without the conflict and what's happening now, you know, it might, you know, they say that it's darkest before the dawn, so it must end in a way that we will go to a different direction. I hope I answered your question, Lev.
You did. Modelach. Thank you for the nechemta.
Does
Yeah, you
any,
see, we all have these all kind of uh, merchandise. You know that you buy all kind of things for donations. So yes.
do any of the riders have anything they want to share about maybe like feeling of safety where you live, or anti-Semitism, or any stories you want to bring to the group?
I really want to hear about that because this is very, very disturbing what we hear from the world, and I would be happy that you would share.
I'm sorry to report that we found anti-Semitic literature on the lawns and in the driveways in our neighborhood just 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we have signs all over our neighborhood supporting it, and a bunch of them were spray painted. But overall, this area is very much pro-Israel.
I would add that I've been in touch with a number of riders, both in Connecticut as well as elsewhere, and we too were very saddened not to be able to get together and ride and just be a community with you. We think about you and your families, our families always. We are dealing with anti-Semitism. Thankfully, our community has been so far not exposed to any direct attacks within my particular synagogue community, although we've increased our security efforts considerably because of the atmosphere here. And I will say a lot of our college students are dealing with incredibly difficult environments on their campuses, which is really concerning to a lot of parents who have kids in college. So that's what's happening here on our end. I did attend the march in Washington. It was very spirited. It felt like really a good demonstration of the Jewish community as well as non-Jewish community that came out. And I do think our leadership in the United States, for the most part, has been very supportive of Israel. And that, I think, makes us feel like we're doing a part. I would like to know what we can do to help you guys in Israel. What can we do to be supportive? I'm signed up to go next year. I'm recruiting. We're doing a big recruit. I'd love to know what we can do for you.
So also Nancy asked about coming here in some supporting group, and she asks how's the feeling and kind of for what's our opinion. So the feeling has changed, and it can change almost like in a daily basis. So in the beginning, it wasn't clear at all what's happening. And like Neria said, people were afraid that, like you'll be attacked in your home. And then I think it changed more to, with America sending all their power here and the whole talk of the world, it was more a feeling of like Third World War is going to open and we're in the center of it. So, and there was like so my wife is American, and for her it was like, man, like our flight's going to be fully closed. Like, are we, and America actually did send notes to people, for evacuation flights. Like initially they sent people evacuation routes on a ship to Athens without knowing. So you really felt like, man, it's a serious thing. But now it's more really almost normal because of the ceasefire. I think tomorrow there would be a little show from both sides to show that we're going back to war, but you can't know how it would be in 10 days. And so my son says maybe we'll win the war in 10 days.
Amen.
I'd like to, I don't know if we have time. This is Lester. I'm not gonna, I appreciate folks in Israel wanting to know what our experience here is. I'm not particularly concerned about our experience here. I have to tell you that this conversation and the conversations I've had with folks in Israel are the most heartbreaking that I think I've ever had around Israel. To hear about a nation broken, and to hear about and to hear from you, and I'm obviously this is not critical, but to hear from you and to hear from other family that I have there and friends there, you know, how broken you feel and how and I think many of us share that as well, although certainly not at the same level because we haven't experienced it the way you have. I worry terribly that as supportive as the administration here is, that the world is is not going to be supportive. We know that. If should the ceasefire end or should it not end, whatever happens, on a political basis and a security basis, my biggest worry is that Hamas will come out of this stronger. As important and vital as it is to get the hostages back, in what world do we negotiate with hostage takers in a way that allows them to do what they're doing? All of these things, these are the things that are on my mind. I don't have any answers for them. But I have to tell you that what worries me more than anything else is the extent to which our homeland is broken.
Second that one. A broken country is it leaves at least me without words. And what happens in Israel affects us all. What happens here affects maybe us in our day-to-day lives, but we can enact some things here. I don't know what we can do to help the state of Israel, and that's a feeling of helplessness and brokenness at the same time.
Gal, I see you have your hand up. Do you want to unmute?
Yes. Hi, I'm Gal. I work in the Arva Institute, and lucky for me, I also live in the Arva, which is the safest area in Israel. Always. First, I just want to say that the current government in Israel not only led us to this tragedy, but also since the dark Saturday of October 7th, it's the government is just failing in everything, and citizens just took things to their hands. And though we were very there was a huge protest here for almost a year and a half. And the moment the war started, we all just put everything aside, and civilians saved the country and the people, and all the NGOs and all the organizations are just giving everything they have. Time, energy, money, supplies, even for the army when the army needs something and the government just is too busy transferring money to Yehuda Veshomron and all the settlements. So yeah, just private people just donate money and stuff to the military. So we have the most amazing people in the whole world, but the sad thing is that we only see it when things are getting really, really bad, which they have. But what I really wanted to say is to update you about what's been going on in Eilat and our area, because from the moment the war started, most of the refugees, and in Israel now there are about 120,000 refugees in their own country, and most of them cannot go back and will not go back to their houses for more than a year because they don't have any house to go back to. But in Eilat, who's normally it has about 60,000 people. Now they have 120,000, mostly from the Gaza area, but also from up north. I can tell you that all the people that survived the massacre in Kibbutz Be'eri are staying in Eilat for now. Today, preschool was opened, and also just a school for 340 students, if I'm not mistaken, in Eilat. They all live in hotels in Eilat. In Kibbutz Eilot, if you know, it's the kibbutz that it's right on the entrance to Eilat. If you go into the city from the Arava or out of the city, it's the first kibbutz that belongs to the Arava area. They're all the people from Kibbutz Nir Yitzchak. They are going to stay there for at least 6 months. Today also, not today, I'm sorry, early this week, school was opened, and for now, they're going to live in a hotel that's inside the kibbutz. In the Arava area, that starts in Kibbutz Eilot near Eilat and ends about 100 kilometers to the north, on Route 90. You know, if you ride down from the Neot Smadar in and you turn right in the junction, that's Route 90, the one that Kibbutz Ktorah is located on. So it's about 100 kilometers. Well, we're usually here in 12 villages. 10 of them are kibbutzim. There are about 6,000 people. The first weeks of the war, another 3,600 people were added to the different communities in all the kibbutzim. And now there are still almost 2,000 people. And some of them will stay here. Also, some of them are talking about relocating to this area because they just fell in love with the Arava, and I cannot blame them. What else? Well,
I
the
think,
government is, I'm sorry?
I think we're coming towards the end of the allotted time.
Yes. We have another
I'd just
3
like
minutes.
I just like to thank everybody for joining us. I think what we all learned is none of our lives will be the same after October 7th that they were before, each in many different ways. I will just share one anecdote of one of our regular alumni. I just got an email this morning from Steve Sanderson from Ben Gurion Airport, who's there, and he's going to volunteer as an agricultural worker. I don't know exactly where he's going, but that's what he's doing. We want to stay together as a community. If you would like to, Ilana can share email addresses of the lead writers if you'd like to ask some further questions or be in touch. And will maybe give us some feedback if we should do something else like this or more. But I think we've created a special community. It's amazing for me. I've known Alma and Kfir for 20 years. I was young and they were babies when we started all of this, and it really is a special community.
It is.
So,
it is. It's. I really waited to this Zoom meeting, and it is. It warms my heart to see all of you and all of your faces and see your concern and your thoughts and that you're with us. It goes through the computer, and I really want to thank you. And I know that we will meet each other again sometime when things will be better here. And yes, it's always darkest before the dawn. And and the dawn will come, I hope, sooner than later. Some of you asked how you can help. So if I was to donate, so I would do a part of course, coexistent projects. I would donate to the regional councils, to the local governments, to the local to the regional councils, because I feel that they can they in the south, of course, Eshkol and Sha'ar HaNegev, because I feel that they can they know how to help their society. And many kibbutzes, and if infrastructure or education or revacha, welfare, and yes, or come to work in agriculture. It's a lot of fun. I personally think it's better to be working in agriculture than being in the office.
We also have the wonderful Arava Institute that we support through this ride. There was a lot of difficult days and remain difficult days at the Institute. We will send around recordings of some other little webinars that have been done with Tarek Abu Hamid, who's the leader of the Arava Institute, with David Lair, with others. We did one last week that was really good with Aharon Ariel Lavi, who was a lead writer with us for a couple of years. We thank you for your support, and we value you as part of our community.
Yeah, if everyone wants to unmic and say goodbye and send love through the screen, I think that would be nice.
Sending hugs, miss you all. I'll see you in the fall of 24.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank
Love
you all.
guys.
Thank you. Thanks for all the.
You guys.
Thanks, everybody. Nice to see you. Bye, Lester.
Thank you.
To everyone. Love to everyone. We miss you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Really miss you.
Bye.
Brenda.
Yay, Jamba.
Thanks so much.
תודה
It's great.
רבה רבה רבה. רועי, תודה.
ביי, נדבר.
מקסימים, ניפגש.
And Kfir, if you want to